what is your top 5 anime and what's your favorite one too?
I'm not gonna lie, I usually be ignorant about this and I just say One Piece for all 5 of them.
Ah, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you are seeing this video, that means you read the title, and yeah, I have now read the first 100 chapters of One Piece. So if you guys were not around, I made a bet on my channel that I'm not gonna go into for the sake of my own sanity, and I made a bet with you guys that if I lost, I would read the first 100 chapters of One Piece. And yeah, we're finally here. I've been kind of delaying this video. I just had some other projects, and I was on vacation and a whole bunch of other things. But this video definitely was a semi-long time in the making. Now, if you guys don't know about my channel's lore or anything like that, I've been slandering One Piece for a cool like 2.5, almost 3 years. And I was fully prepared to slander it even more after reading these 100 chapters. And right before I started reading, I was fully prepared to just go all in on the slander train. I mean, 1,130 bomba fuck chapters. What? Dude, One Piece is as old as I am. Holy shit. But length aside from One Piece that gets memed out consistently, I just wasn't a fan of the art style from what I was seeing. And I will tell you that as I started reading more, I started to like the art style just a little bit more. There definitely were some times where, especially later on, I was starting to kind of get confused as to what I was seeing because it felt kind of like some visual clutter here and there. I know modern One Piece gets a lot of that, especially with some of these panels where you'll have like a bunch of characters on the side, a splash page, and then it's just super, I don't want to say overly detailed, but it feels like it's too much going on. But I will say that I actually did kind of enjoy these first 100 chapters of One Piece, man, genuinely. I'm not going to be doing a overall story recap. I do feel like that would be very redundant considering how long the series has been around. And if you're watching this, you most likely know everything I'm going to talk about. But I'm just going to be kind of breaking it down character by character and just how overall how I feel about them. Also, real quick, if you're not subscribed by this point, you gotta make sure you're subscribed. You're this deep into the video and you're listening to my sweet, sultry, sexy voice. Yeah. Whoa, but wait, dear citizen, did you know that your boy has, what is this? Merchandise. Yes, Lord. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, go down in the link below and go hit up your boy for some high quality merchandise over at Fourth Wall. Actually, your boy also has a promo code for discount. First drop, that is FIRSTDRP drop. First drop, I can't spell. For a limited time discount. I believe I have that up to 5 people, but depending on the situation, I might upgrade that to 10. Oh yeah, go ahead, get you some merch. And I got these and plenty of different designs for you, as well as other variations in very different colors. Oh yeah. Also, if you don't want this particular design or anything that I have on my store, go to Anime Express and go hit your boy up at code Daffy 10 for 10% off your next purchase, man. Ooh, yeah. Back to your regular scheduled program. So as far as Luffy goes, I knew generally some stuff about Luffy just from outside knowledge, kind of passively looking at things. But being introduced to Luffy's character and kind of seeing what he's about, I like him, but I don't necessarily love Luffy. There's some things that he does that I'm like, okay, I like this. He's, he earns his main character status fairly quickly. But do I love Luffy? Not necessarily, no. I mean, he's just kind of this, he plays into this trope of the hero that's a fool, but he has a good heart. So, I mean, it isn't anything I haven't seen before. Like, I definitely see where people say that, oh, like, Goku is the granddaddy of all the big three. I especially see that in Luffy's actions. I mean, you look at like OG Dragon Ball Goku and Luffy, they act like damn near the same exact person. Sometimes even their manner of speech. And honestly, I thought that Nozawa voiced Luffy for a second. But I like Luffy's powers, man. The Gum Gobuna! Every time I hear that type, I do like that. I love how creative Luffy gets, because at this point in the One Piece story, the powers are semi-grounded. They're semi-realistic, right? You have this one fruit that turns you into rubber. You have another guy later on, he has smoke. You have Buggy the Clown, and he can kind of disassemble his body. I like how it's not stereotypical, shonen power up shooting beams at each other and all that. I like the power system that they have here. I like how simple Luffy's design is as well. So, he wants to be king of the pirates. He has a goal. He obviously wants to get it done. And, his flashback with Shanks, I like Shanks. I do. I hope to see more of him if I decide to keep reading, but from the vibe I got, he had aura. He has some aura on him, you know what I mean? I think my favorite moment with Luffy was in the midst of Arlong Park. In the midst of Arlong Park, where we have this arc where, Nami is kind of confronted with this trauma that she faced early on in her childhood and how she had to basically sacrifice her relationship with everybody else in order to, kind of keep them alive. Luffy walks off after, she wants to give her backstory. He just says, I don't really care. Like, Nami is part of our crew. And Luffy visually gets upset when, I believe it's Zoro or Sanji, they're like, we need to find another navigator. And Luffy's like, no, she's our navigator. No, I refuse to get anybody else. And so you have this fantastic scene where Nami is sitting, she's crying, she's breaking down. And like, after she feels like she's exhausted all other options to finally be free of Arlong's control, after deceiving the Straw Hats, I mean, she stole from them and everything. She looks at Luffy with tears in her eyes and she says, Luffy, help me. And then he walks up and he puts the straw hat on her. He puts Shanks' hat on her. He says, of course I will. I like that moment, man. I love that moment, man. That hit. I gotta admit that sheer unwavering dedication is a very good quality of a leader. I think that Oda did a fantastic job with selling that. And I mean, I actually did like Luffy's fight with Arlong as well. It didn't feel too long, but I also it felt gritty. It felt violent. I liked it, dude. And when Luffy looks and he's like, this is why Nami's so upset, and he starts destroying the map room, and then he has that and then he has a battle axe, he just brings it down. Oh no, that was hype, bro. He bought that size 9 on that nigga. Oh man, that was some good shit. Hey, that was sick. Hey, I like Arlong more than Krieg. Captain Krieg, he was all right. I didn't really, care for him that much. He was okay. But definitely, I was feeling Luffy there, man. I was. As far as the character of Nami, she's okay for me. I don't really feel any two ways about her. I think her introduction was fine. I don't really have any thoughts particularly on that. There's nothing super egregious that she does that makes me dislike the character. She's just kind of there. I liked her backstory. I did like her backstory with Arlong Park and her adopted mother Belmare, whatever her name is. Editor, you know what I'm talking about. But I like that how she adopts a lot of her personality traits from this strong woman that she grew up around. She's always taught to don't be a punk, don't take shit from anybody, fight to survive. I like that. I do. I think Nami's a very capable character. I enjoy her, but I don't feel too strongly about her. But we need to talk about my GOAT Zoro, man. Yes. I am an unabashed Zoro stan. As soon as I laid eyes on this green fool, I knew he's him. He's him. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I like swordsmen in anime, and I like swordsmen they got a creed for him. You know what I mean? And Zoro, he got that sauce, man. It's some bottom, right? He got aura too. We talk about aura, bro. I don't know. I forgot which fight it was, but he intentionally got stabbed to get closer to Buddy and cut him up. Ooh, yeah. And we was fighting Mihawk. Like he was giving Mihawk 110%, and Mihawk had a tiny little blade, and Mihawk, I wouldn't even say he humiliated him. He overpowered him, but he didn't humiliate him. And right as he's about to get stabbed, he turns around on Mihawk and he says, a swordsman doesn't die with his back to his enemy. Yes, talk! And then when he makes his creed, he says, Luffy, I will never lose again. Now, obviously, is he gonna lose some fights in the series? Yes, man, yes, of course he's gonna lose fights. But he's saying in spirit, he's never gonna lose. You can lose a fight physically, but if you can win a fight with your spirit, you can be defeated, but you can't be broken. Do you see what I'm saying, bro? I like that. Zoro hammering down, and he says, my spirit, I don't want to let you down, Luffy. I'm gonna do what I can. I like that, man. I do. I like it a lot, man. I do. I like how Zoro isn't like super duper serious. Like he's kind of sarcastic. He's kind of dry, but he's got a little bit of humor to him. I like it. I like the dynamic that all the Straw Hats have with each other as well. And moving on to the next Straw Hat, we have Sanji. Now, actually, I really like Sanji. I think Sanji had my favorite arc, the Barati, whatever that ship's name is called. I love that arc. I actually really enjoy it. You have the backstory of Sanji and the great chef, I forget what his name is, Zeef, and you have this backstory where they're stranded on this island. And Sanji's just a kid. And the captain says, here's some of this food, go eat. I'm gonna take the big bag. And actually we find out that the big bag that the captain have, it was just filled with jewels. It was filled with nothing. There was no food. So he was forced to eat his own leg. And he gave all of his food to Sanji because Sanji had a dream that he once had. That was a great emotional beat for me. I really enjoyed that. And I love Sanji's fighting style, just kicks only. Like as a cook, you're not able to injure your hands. That's your lifeblood. That's what you use on a day-to-day basis. So what do you have to use? You have to use your feet. You have to use kicks. And I love how, dude, my favorite instance of Sanji using his fighting style, it's in Arlong Park when he's fighting Kurapika or whatever the dude's name, the Stingray dude, and he put the beast on, bro. He said, Kulia! Oh, you had like, bro, them kicks, the sound effects, yeah. It's funny actually, because I looked up that scene. Apparently there were like a couple of times where Arlong Park was remastered, and I didn't like how the remaster looked. I actually kind of liked how the older one looked. The remaster felt a little too fast, but I rock with Sanji, man. I know that there's some controversy as far as him being like overly creepy with women. I didn't really get that vibe necessarily here. Although I did see a clip of Sanji asking to be called a dog in like one of the newer One Piece episodes, so I don't know what point that changed, but it did. And now Usopp to me, I don't care for really at all. I do like his moment in Arlong Park where he's running away and he's getting chased by these fishmen, and then he's like, oh well, I can cover myself up with blood and dirt and all this. I can make it look like I fought a hard battle. And then he's like, no, this is shameful. And he actually confronts his own cowardice and he says, no, come out and fight me. And he fights the one dude with the kissy lips. I like that, but Syrup Town, I was struggling, dude. I was not feeling that arc at all. I was bored to tears reading that arc. I understand what Oda was going for. I get it, but Kaya, I don't really have any feelings towards at all. The villain is okay. The butler / servant that wants to actually take you over. We've seen that trope time and time again, but I think it was all right. He didn't really have anything that wowed me for himself. I didn't really feel the group that he had, the Pussycats or whatever. Usopp being this kid that just like went around telling fables and all that, and then actually the one time he's being truthful, the people don't believe him. Again, we've seen this time and time again. I didn't care for this arc personally, and I'm not gonna sit here and keep dogging on it, but I will say one of the big things about One Piece is that when it's slow, it feels like it is slow. I mean, there was chapter 99, chapter 98 where Zoro was going to buy a sword in this one place, and I was just sitting there like my eyes were rolling to the back of my head. Again, I'm not saying that I need action every single chapter, that's not at all what I'm saying, but it's something about the story structure. When it slows down, it feels like it's going to a screeching halt. Like I'm just reading Zoro trying to buy the sword, I'm like, oh no, he's got his luck, this sword's cursed, blah 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 blah, and it just started to feel like word vomit. I was reading. Local JJK fan can't read, what a surprise. But I do like these first 100 chapters, man. I do. There are some things I don't like, but I love the dynamic that the Straw Hats have. The story can be very lighthearted most of the time, but then it does tackle some darker subjects, and it does handle them with grace. I would say that. I hope as the story goes on, the choreography keeps its flair. I feel like Oda does have some pretty good fight choreography, and as far as movement goes, I just really hope it carries over, because I've just kind of seen some things here and there from later chapters, and it doesn't look great to me. It doesn't look great to me. Now, I know there's some people that slander Oda's art style, including myself, for a good amount of time, but I do think he's a good artist, and I do think that he does make a good use of negative space when trying to convey certain emotions. But I do like him. I do like how he draws most of his characters. Usopp, why is Usopp a dark-skinned character with these kinds of lips and all that, man? I mean, like, this is in the late 90s, man. Like, it was kind of starting to get out of style even then, man. Like, what do you mean by that? But I will easily say that this is one of those manga where it's a very discernible art style. There's no one on planet Earth that draws like Oda. So I do like that. It's funny because Tokyo Revengers author, he has a similar thing in Asteroid Real's art now. and look at the artist's past art style. Bro, what happened? What? Dude, did this dude get like carpal tunnel in both the wrists? What is going on? I don't get it, man. I don't understand. Our interaction with One Piece was Ace's death, and I have no idea how far that is in the future of One Piece. If I decide to read another 100 chapters, I will see. I don't necessarily know how I feel about it at this time, but the first arc with Buggy, I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine. I thought Buggy was an okay first antagonist, and him showing up at chapter 100, you know, sailing up to the Grand Blue with everybody trying to chase down Luffy. I thought it was pretty cool. I did like the moment actually where Luffy is about to get executed and he just laughs just like Gold Roger did. That was actually pretty sick. And like, people are like, oh, like, do you believe in like divine intervention? Like, bro, like, why are you laughing? Because you know you're gonna get saved. He said, no, of course not. Like, Luffy saw his death and he was just like, okay, well, if this is how it ends, that's it. Goodbye. And he just took it with stride. I like that moment too. I do. Maybe I'm growing on Luffy as I make this video. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I think another small moment before I wrap up this video is the fact that I'm gonna call him sheriff deputy, but I will call him the sheriff of the town that Nami grew up in. But the gentleman with the pinwheel on his hat, they make a reference to that pinwheel a couple times over, and even Luffy comments on it, and they're like, "Why do you have that pinwheel on your head?" And we find out later on in the arc, it's because he wanted to make Nami smile and laugh again. And I like that. That was actually a very poignant moment as well. One thing I did not like is the fact that Luffy was out of commission against Arlong for a little bit, and the Straw Hats had to kind of wait. It was giving like the old DBZ problems, even modern DBZ problems, where it's like, oh, we gotta wait till Goku and Vegeta get here to actually do something. I really hope that they don't do that more moving forward. We will see. Let me know if that happens. But no, actually, I like these first 100 chapters of One Piece. I don't love it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I don't. So whether or not I continue my smear campaign on One Piece, we will see. We will see. But yeah, it's me, boy Daffy, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Let me know what you guys think about these first 100 chapters of One Piece. Am I crazy? Am I tripping? Hopefully I get to see Tony Chopper soon. I don't know. I don't know. Chopper! It's me, boy Daffy, guys. I will see you in the next video. Y'all make sure you take care of yourselves, guys, and have a good one.